Hi there. Today we're going to speak about our will and God's will for our lives. Now, in our prayers, we always say, His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, why do we say that? It is because our way and our will is tainted. Our way is not preserved, it's not undertaken. We cannot keep to our promises, we cannot keep to our commitments, we cannot keep to our vows because we cannot uphold it. But Jesus can uphold his vows. He can uphold those that trust in him. He can uphold his commitments. He can uphold his word. And this is very important to understand because as we go through life, we are taught our way, but we are not taught God's way. And here's the thing, here's how you are taught God's way, is through faith, through going through trials and having faith in them, through going through difficulties and choosing Jesus' will for your life instead of your own will. And the reason why you must do this is because your will lead to your destruction. And people don't take it too seriously because it's far in the distance. That's the difficulty. That's where the enemy is very cunning. Because it's so far in the distance and you can't see it, you expect it, it's not, it won't happen to me. But you might not suspect that it's already in in the process towards going towards your destruction. And when it happens, you're going to be surprised. Because the same way Pharaoh wanted his will, which was, I'm not going to let your people go, it led to his own destruction because he ran with all his chariots and all of his soldiers into his demise. And it wasn't just immediate, it was over time. Over a long period of time, God gave him many chances. And so God gives all of us many chances because he understands our will, he understands our way. And it's not wrong to want to prosper. It's not wrong to want health. It's not wrong to want a better life for yourself and for your family. But it is wrong if your way causes destruction and leaves destruction in your wake, basically. Because if you cannot uphold your way, and only God can uphold your way, or God can uphold his way, he doesn't uphold your way because it's your way, then the enemy has access. And when the enemy has access, it doesn't become your way anymore. It becomes his way. Because the same as Adam and Eve could not perceive the cunning words that the serpent was questioning them about, so too you can't perceive how the enemy will use you. Okay, there's actually a verse in the Bible where the enemy uses someone of God to literally destroy someone else. Okay, and this person didn't mean to, but this person didn't use God's will, he used his own will. Okay, I'll speak about that another time. But in this instance, understand that God has a will for us. Okay, and his will is actually our will. It's just not tainted. Okay, so you want the nice lifestyle or you want abundance, but you carry no abundance here. That is not God's will. God doesn't want to surround you with riches while you are you are poor here. He wants to first fill you up, make you rich here, and then comes the rest. Much easier. So not our will, but his will, Jesus' will. Okay, and now I'm going to show you in the Bible his will, his actual will for our lives, because he actually mentions it. All right, so here it is. This is Jeremiah 29, verse 11. Okay, it's well known. And he says, "For I know the thoughts I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Now, think on that. If God's thoughts are of peace and not of evil, it means that He's always trying to give you peace. He's always trying to lead you to a path that leads to peace in your life and in your surroundings. So if your life is not peaceful, if there is a certain turmoil in your life, then maybe you are outside of His will. And maybe you need to come back to His will so that you can get that peace. Remember, we have things that God must circumcise, that God must cut off. He must prune, because what you're asking for requires it. You want a life of peace? Well, then you have to be peaceful. You want a life of abundance? Well, then you have to find riches first inside here. You have to find the true riches of the Word of God, and then abundance will start to flow. And when you understand that God is your provider, then you know that abundance is not far from you, because Jesus is with you. So God's thoughts are of peace and not of evil. So His will for us are of peace. So if we're seeking peace, we're actually seeking Jesus. We're actually seeking God. So if you're looking for a life peaceful, if you're looking for abundance, why are you looking for abundance? Because abundance leads to peace, which ultimately you're looking for Jesus. It's just under a different name. But you're actually looking for Jesus. Because everything that is in existence, whether it be peace, God is the author and the creator of peace. He is the creator of peace and He's the creator of evil. That's a shocking one. But that takes real deep relation with Him to understand that one. But yeah, He created peace and He created evil. Evil is not in man's hands. Evil is in God's hands. It's just that man uses it the wrong way. They don't put it in God's will. Like, for example, when the woman was supposed to be stoned after she committed adultery, evil was in their hands. In their will, they wanted to stone this woman. But in God's will, He said, okay, you want to stone her? Okay. He who is sinless, cast the first stone. And that is how evil was used. It convicted all of them. And they left one by one. And they didn't just leave randomly. The eldest, the oldest left first. The ones who were to know better left first. And then the young ones left. And eventually all of them left. And because it was God's will, it worked out not only for their betterment, then they didn't need to kill an innocent person that God could redeem. And then He said to the woman, I don't condemn you either. Go in peace and sin no more. And we all deserve, I wouldn't say deserve, but we all ought to have that kind of grace and mercy, because that's the kind of mercy and grace we want for ourselves. So not our will, but His will works out to your betterment. So that's why turn your will to His will, because it is, ultimately. It's just that your way is tainted and it will lead to your sin, it will lead to your destruction, and you cannot uphold it. You can't protect it no matter how careful you are. Trust in the Lord. Okay, those that trust in the Lord do not trust in Him in vain. Okay, as you can see, I'm running out of time. But just take this, not your will, but His will. Okay, so that He can give you an expected end. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this blessed you. And I pray that you follow suit and seek more of Him. Okay? Not your will, His will is for your betterment. God bless. Bye-bye.